This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back to continue kicking ass, taking names with our girly pop mercenary, Kim Possible, and her pals. Come
yes.
meet me if you want to reach me. And Ron Stoppable, and just everyone here. And
Rufus, most importantly.
Rufus, Wade, her parents, all the villains. There's a lot of characters here, actually, in retrospect.
Exactly.
Bonnie. We're not going to go through them all. We'll see.
She's there sometimes.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And Alexis this week will be telling us all about, I don't know, something. Something with
it's
Impossible.
Something. It's something. Probably. And probably, maybe, or else.
I'm a little nervous.
What are we doing recording this?
What it could be based on, we were talking about our, just some other things before this about other shows we might do. And we had a little side comment of, oh, my episode today.
That comes up today.
Curious and worried.
It's interesting. We're going to do a lot of our favorite things here. We're not only going to talk about a great cartoon that has to do with some interesting crime, with some badass characters, but we're also going to do a little history type lesson-ish, aka Wikipedia deep dive, about something that is actually topical as of, I believe, the airing of this episode. It might be a few days late on this.
Mother's Day?
Yes. Happy Mother's Day. Because today's episode, happy belated Mother's Day, I believe, to every mother out there. But I believe that today's episode will air the week after Mother's Day. And it's perfect because it is called Mother's Day. And
wait, really? I was just making that
episode
up.
Episode 26.
Mother's Day.
Nope. The episode is literally called Mother's Day.
Oh my God. So funny. I thought you were just leaning 26. Into my little joke, but...
No. No,
okay.
Truly. And I tried to count it out on what day this would come out. And I think it's the weekend after Mother's Day as of the airing of this. Obviously, we record our episodes in advance, and I'm not good at math, and Grace is the one who uploads our videos and stuff to all of our platforms. So she does that for me, and I thank her deeply for that. But that means that I don't know what day this is actually airing, but I know around Mother's Day. So we're going to celebrate Mother's Day on this podcast today.
Good.
So this goes out for all the moms out there, old moms, new moms, moms who have lost kids, moms who are having trouble expecting new kids, whatever.
Pet or just parents, pet moms.
Everybody, pet moms, plant moms,
the
people who just
mom
serve a
and the friend group
in someone else's life. This episode's for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, it is Mother's Day in Middleton in this Kim Possible universe. And so everywhere in the world in this Kim Possible universe, not just Middleton. And let me tell you, there are, as we have discussed in this show, or at least one very special and deserving mother in this town.
Oh, yes.
Of course, we start the episode by seeing the Possible family, minus Ann Possible, the mother, the matriarch of the family. They are all up and early on this fine Sunday in May, planning and prepping for Mrs. Possible to have the best Mother's Day possible. Sorry for all
That's hard. That's hard to avoid.
Yes. Anne's lovely spring Sunday morning begins with breakfast in bed and some heartfelt gifts given to her by the Tweebs, her twin sons, Tim and Jim, and Kim, which while writing this episode out, I realized that their kids' names are Tim, Jim, Kim, which is
As
crazy.
You said that, I was this moments old, and for me to realize that
Yes.
too.
Yes. I mean, it's like James and Timothy and Kimberly, but still, good Lord, that's worse than my parents giving us all A names and the same
names,
initials. Exactly. Yeah, that's something.
I do feel somewhat foolish for also just realizing this at the same
missing
moment.
That. Yeah, right. I thought that you would have caught on to it, so I thought you were going to laugh at me for just exactly. We usually just call them the Tweebs too. So
versus Tim, Jim, Kim. That's a lot.
Exactly. It is a lot. It's a mouthful. Yeah. But anyway, so the gifts that her kids give her include a card, some flowers from the hallway vase right outside of their room, and the Tweebs, Jim and Tim, wanted to also give her mutated killer bees but James was like, absolutely not.
Okay, good. I was like, and they did?
No, they did not. Instead, they gave her flowers. So
Okay,
good job, Kim and
close.
James, on shutting that shit down.
Yeah.
So just as Anne starts to dig into her breakfast, the phone rings. Well, two phones actually ring, hers and Kim's, or Kim's communicator.
Uh-huh.
So Anne, she's being called in for surgery.
Oh
And Kim
no.
is getting, I know, on Sunday, on Mother's Day.
Come on.
But yes, Kim is likewise getting a call from Wade informing her of some new job or something about Her Majesty the Queen waiting until the spring thaw or something. So
Oh, okay.
a big gig. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Big
but Kim
gig.
says, nah, nah, nah. Tell her I can't today. I got to hang out with my mom. It's
Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day. Tell the Queen to wait. Okay.
Whatever her problem is, don't care today.
Yeah.
Call me
Don't
tomorrow.
care. She should be celebrating Mother's Day too, right?
What is
Shouldn't
she
she?
doing? Wow, her kids are
Yes.
ungrateful.
Hmm. But Kim's dad, James, he immediately grabs both of their phones from them, turns them off, and like sets them to the side.
You can't do that for a surgeon. Isn't she a
Uh,
neurosurgeon?
yes, I mean, yeah. It's not just
James
like a
just
broken
killed
phone.
someone.
It's like quite possibly, quite possibly. But he looks at Anne and Kim and he asks them, when was the last time the two of them really spent some quality, like real quality mother-daughter bonding time
Mm.
together? And hilariously, Kim says, well, there was that one time, but Anne stops her and says, no, remember, Kimmy, we had to cancel that.
Oh no. Okay, this is
Which
sad.
is funny, but like also sad because
Yeah.
it's like, oh God, you didn't even know what she was going to say. And
And
yet
you knew it was
you two
canceled.
never spend time together.
Yeah.
Yes. So James tells the two that they really need to just take the day off and spend the day together no matter what. And he
Okay.
will stay back and take care of Jim and Tim, the Tweebs, and just make sure that everything stays cool at the house. So
Yes.
Kim and Anne, at first, they're like a little hesitant because they just know how busy they are. But
Yeah.
they are pretty quickly like, all right, fine. That's a good point. It is Mother's Day. It's the very
Yeah.
least that we could do is just spend some time together. So James leaves the room to go deal with a killer bee situation in his
Right, because they still
backyard.
had the bees. They just didn't give them to
Exactly. They
mom.
just didn't bring him in the room. Exactly. They
Yeah. Of
instead just threw him outside and let him reign free. But just as James leaves, their phones start ringing off the hook again.
course.
Kim and Anne, they take a couple seconds to like hesitate and look at each other like, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. But they can't give
We're not
in.
gonna do
They keep,
it.
exactly. But they just can't help it. They give in and they answer because they're working ladies. What do you want them to
They're
do?
saving
Okay.
lives.
They're saving lives, kicking ass, taking names, all at the same time. So Anne gets called into the hospital for emergency surgery. And Wade tells Kim that Draken is up to some evil scheme somewhere doing something. So just like start to
Uh-huh.
keep a pin on him. And naturally, the two of them, they immediately just like spring into action. They leave to go to work and
Mm.
deal with their respective emergencies. So Draken, on the other hand, what exactly is Draken up to? You may ask. He and Shigo are currently sneaking into this secure naval base somewhere where
Okay.
they're attempting to steal all of the world's self-replicating synthoplasma.
You only have
I'm
the
pretty
first
sure
two
this is not a real
words.
thing.
The last word. I'm gone. What?
I'm gone. I was gone at steal. I don't know. I don't know. But hilariously, this largest quantity or this entire quantity of this very precious thing that Dr.
Uh-huh.
Draken wants is stored in a canister the size of like a thermos, but it's
Oh,
kept
okay.
in this massive
That's how
vault.
rare it is, I
It's
guess.
very rare. And
Okay.
Shigo is like, really, this is the entire
Like
supply of
stock.
it. And
Yeah.
Draken's like, it's highly concentrated, okay? So you only need a little bit to go a very long
Don't
way.
be so
And he's trying
judgy.
to
It's like
steal
your
this whole
face
thing.
moisturizer. It's expensive in a very
Exactly.
small bottle,
Don't
but
overdo it.
yeah, a dab,
Exactly.
little bit.
Overdo it, you'll clog the pores and get a little too oily. Just be careful, okay? Moderation is always good. So Draken, he's explaining the purpose of this item, or like
Okay.
the value, I should say, of this item to Shigo. And I say only the value because he really actually doesn't know what this stuff does at all. He's just like, watch out for it. And she's like, watch out for what? Like,
For it.
I don't know. And she calls him out on this. She's like, you have no idea what this thing does, do you? What the fuck are we even doing here?
Well, how did we even get here?
But if it's behind a vault like that, Shigo knows, like, okay, it's obviously very
There's something
important because
good.
it's at a military base. It's behind a vault.
Yeah,
We had to literally scuba dive and sneak into this place. This is
right.
insane. So
It's at
while they're
least worth
trying to
some money.
leave, exactly, if nothing else, I don't have to know what it does to know that
Yeah.
someone is going to pay billions for
All
it.
right, to get this back.
So while they're trying to leave this vault with this canister, they are ambushed by Team Possible in this vault at the base because obviously Wade is able to crack down, their every
Mm,
movement of Draken and Shigo,
always.
and he's able to get them full clearance to get through this
Yeah, say,
military
and
base.
also hack into this mainframe of
Exactly.
this naval
And
base.
or and or it's just the perks of being a government contractor at this point because
That's
like
so true. They
clearly
already have the
in my
clearance.
mind when I see this I'm like so the Navy must have hired them to come in if they're able to just like swoop into this vault where
Just flash a
Shigo and
badge.
Draken had to sneak in. Yeah.
Yes.
Flash
Yeah.
badge, boop. No, okay, just enter our passcode and boop,
Right,
we're in.
exactly. A little finger
Draken, give us that
scan.
back. Come on. Yes.
Yeah.
So after a close fight, though, with obviously Draken and Shigo, Kim and Ron and Rufus do manage to steal the canister of the synthoplasma back from
Right.
Draken. And this forces Draken and Shigo to flee the naval base and run to hide and kind of like regroup.
Hmm.
And as Kim and Ron leave this vault, Wade again calls in. But this time he's looking for Ron because he tells Ron that his mom has been calling him over and over looking for him.
Oh no,
And
Ron.
Ron does a big old face palm exactly as your
He forgot his
reaction,
Mother's
as my
Day.
reaction. Yep, because he's like, oh, shoot, I promised my mom I would spend the whole day with her today.
Ron, get
And
out of
Kim looks at him and
there.
sighs, and she's like, I actually did too. So, like, we both should probably get
Pissed.
out of here.
Yeah.
Yes. So they both look down at the communicator, though, at this point to respond to Wade.
Why isn't he with
And
his
this is
mom?
one of my favorite part of the episode.
Yes.
They notice that Wade's background, it looks a little different from usual.
Oh,
Usually we just kind of see he's got like a greenish bluish like room with like
yeah.
screens everywhere. Today, it looks like he's actually left his house or room and is out and about with his mother. So Kim and Ron ask him, like, are you out at brunch? Because it looks like he's in a
He's not
restaurant.
Frenching.
And he responds, get real. I had brunch brought in. And so we zoom
He's
out.
the best son. He's the best kid we're learning.
I have that exact quote somewhere in the next few paragraphs. We zoom out of it and we see that this kid has decorated his bedroom to look like a full service restaurant, like
Oh,
multiple tables, placemats on the tables, like a buffet area,
oh my
and a
memory.
server and like chef literally in there preparing food and like plating it up and giving it to his mom who has a full menu and is ordering like an omelet with like ham and cheddar
With the
cheese
works.
in the works, exactly. And so, yes, we meet his mom, but who I now declare the legendary Mrs. Load. We don't get her
Yes.
first name, I don't think, but she is amazing.
Legendary
She's
is her
just like
first name.
a classic, like suburban, like African American mom, just so like, oh, hi,
Yes.
Kim. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing something with your mother today. She
Um,
deserves that. And
but it
Kim's
won't
like,
live up to what my son did
yes,
for me.
literally,
Gives her
it's like
mimosa.
when I think she might be sipping an
Probably.
alcoholic beverage, which is funny. But anyways, so yeah, Kim assures her at this point, like, you know what? Yes, I am, because, and this is where I said exactly what you said before. In reality, I think Wade just made Kim and Ron look like fucking chumps here. Okay. Like,
Right.
so they're like, this is the least we can do is at least go hang out with our
Right.
mother
Be in
for
the
a
same
few
house.
hours. Yes.
Right.
So,
This kid hired staff.
yes.
Service brought in fine equipment, and
Hmm.
scoffed that we thought taking her out to brunch was for peasants.
It was exactly. He's like,
When
please,
they
I won't
asked
let my
that,
mother leave the house on Mother's
yeah,
Day. Are you kidding me?
when they asked that, Wade was like, "Oh, so you don't love your parents?
Basically,
Oh, so you don't love your mom? Got
basically
it."
what he just said. Yes.
Yeah, like he didn't have to say it.
Hmm.
The look he gave them.
And oh, Grace, that's just the beginning. We'll see Wade and his mother celebrating their Mother's Day a few
Well,
more times
because
throughout this
remember we
episode.
briefly
So
saw his mom in the what reminded me of the
that's
Frozen
right.
super suit. So we already knew we
Yes.
liked her, but now, like you said,
Hmm.
legendary Mrs. Lode.
Legendary,
An
legendary. We got to
icon.
give
She
her a first
deserves the
name.
best
If the
Mother's
writers
Day.
didn't, we'll think of one. She does. She does. So, on that note, let's do a little quick Wikipedia recap, deep dive on the history of Mother's
Oh
Day.
my God, how have we not
Now that
done
we
this?
know exactly, like ever in our lives, because it just dawned on me as I was writing this. Well, I was trying to think of like, okay, what fun thing could we research or like,
Yeah.
could we like tie into this story just, because we're nerds. And it hit me. I've never once thought about why we celebrate Mother's Day. Like, I obviously there, love
Or
your
like the
mothers, love
origin,
your
like
parents,
who
whatever.
said?
Exactly. I was like, where did this come from? Like, why and when in America?
Yeah.
Because for it to be an official holiday, Congress has to like sign a law or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, when did that happen? So
What
let's
guilty
talk about that.
congressperson forgot Mother's Day one year? Is this the history of it?
That's a deeper dive than I was willing to go on. But there is a funny quote in here from Congress. They say collectively, it was probably just a few congressmen making a
Yeah.
joke that I will get
Okay,
to in a
I'm
minute, that I
ready.
was like, ha, that's the last good thing Congress ever did. Anyways, so Mother's Day is, as we know, it's usually a Sunday in May, and it's celebrated on different in America, I should say. In the United States, it's a Sunday in May, the second or third. I think I'll get to that in a second. But it's celebrated on different days in many parts of the world, most commonly in March or May.
Okay.
In the 19th century, in the British Isles, quote unquote, Mothering Sunday was celebrated on the fourth Sunday in Lent, meaning that it
Okay.
was directly tied to Christianity and
Okay.
probably Catholicism.
Yeah.
Anyways, a practice which continues in the present day, celebrating it on the fourth Sunday in Lent, which I was thinking about it and I'm almost shocked that I never, well, I guess that's in the British Isles. It's like, I don't think I ever noticed that in America, which is crazy
Well, because the
because,
fourth Sunday in Lent is
well,
in April.
yeah, that
Maybe we
was like that
celebrate
would
it in
be
May.
Sunday. Well, no, the fourth Sun. Well, yeah, I guess it depends on the when Easter is, because Easter is a
Oh, yeah,
different
that's true.
time
That's a good
every
point.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was very confused reading this, but then I realized afterwards that I think that is only for the British.
Okay.
They do their own thing.
Got it.
Anyways, so on this day, though, on Mothering Day, clerics and curates were encouraged to use the time at their disposal to visit their original mother churches. So again, the origins from 19th
Oh, it's not
century
their original
Britain were
mothers,
no,
but their
the
mother
mother
churches.
churches. Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So it really had a lot of religious origins, and at
Yeah.
least like in
Like
Europe and in
Christian
Britain.
origins.
Yes.
Yeah.
But while other countries also have a multi-century history of a day celebrating mothers in one way or another, the modern American version of the holiday began in the United States in the early 20th century at the initiative of a woman named Anna Jarvis.
Okay.
So her campaign to make Mother's Day a recognized holiday in the United States began in 1905, the year that
Oh,
her mother, Anne Reeves Jarvis, died. So
okay.
1905. Anne Jarvis, the mother, she had been a peace activist who, this is the little bit of both sidesism moment
Okay.
that I referenced before we started recording. She was a peace activist who cared for wounded soldiers on both sides of the American Civil War.
Ah, okay. I see. I see.
There's a lot more to that. I kind of skimmed through her Wikipedia page, but again, it was a
Yeah.
deeper dive than I wanted to go down.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll just sum it up by, while I appreciate a lot of the things she did for public health and everything, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Her whole thing when they were from West Virginia and they were in an area that was deciding whether or not to stick with Virginia or stick with West
Uh,
Virginia, Union or Confederacy,
uh-huh.
during the war. And her whole thing as an activist in public health was neutrality, and we're going to help wounded people from both sides.
Uh-huh.
There were instances of her doing things for Union soldiers that people criticized her for, that Confederates criticized her for.
Oh,
And
okay.
there were instances of her doing things in public
Ah,
works for Confederate
better
soldiers
than the
that
Union.
Union people considered
Mm.
her, or
Criticized.
whatever, criticized her for. I
Yeah.
know words. So complex history,
Yes.
but we'll say that her biggest accomplishment was creating what was called the Mother's Day Work Clubs, which was a collection of women who would address public health issues in their communities. And the modern holiday and so that was the inspiration for the
For the
holiday that
holiday.
her daughter
Oh,
exactly would go
interesting.
on to found. So the
Okay.
modern holiday was first celebrated in 1907 when Anna held the first Mother's Day. Anna, the daughter, held the
Mm.
first Mother's Day service of worship at Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church in Grafton, West Virginia. So again,
Okay.
still really tied to religion, even here in
Yeah.
America. In 1908, a year later, the US Congress rejected a proposal to make Mother's Day an official holiday,
Damn.
joking that if they did that, they would also have to probably proclaim a mother-in-law's day,
All
which I was
right,
like,
honestly, that's
"Badooch."
pretty funny. I'm not
It's
mad
pretty
anymore.
funny.
They did it for the
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. I
They
was
were
like,
like, it wasn't because we hate women, it's for the bit that we
exactly. I was
also hate
like, you know what?
women.
That's good. I was, hey,
That's
but
pretty
where does it
funny.
end? Do we have to do Father's Day? Father's-in-law day? Do we got
Father-in-law
to do
day.
brother-in-law? Where does it end? Come
You do a
on.
sister
But
day? Yes, you do.
yes, you do actually. And National Sibling Day is my favorite day too. So just
There you
saying,
go.
slash Sisters Day. Yes. Anyways,
So
so
funny.
however, Congress, so they were just like now joking about it. They were like, we're not going to do this. Obviously,
Yeah.
how cute of you to
You
ask,
can't
but
even
no.
vote. Get out of here, woman.
Yikes, deep burn, deep burn. Yikes, so true.
They're gonna pass
Oh
something for
man.
you in Congress? No.
Which makes my next statement here even more impressive
Uh-oh.
and all the more impactful because owing to the efforts of Anna Jarvis and to her alone, not to Congress, not to any,
Uh-huh.
people in government, by 1911, all US states observed the holiday. Just
Oh,
her
damn. So she
activism
said
alone in
state,
3
like,
years.
that is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
And
So
especially
the
in
fact that you just reminded
1908.
me that she couldn't even freaking vote and she's out there like, yeah,
Well, and like 1908, it's not like she has an Instagram ad out there to sign a petition. Like,
exactly.
she's getting
Or even
people state to
emails to blast
fucking
out to
state.
people.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're on
exactly.
a fucking
So,
horse going door to door here. Damn, that's
yes.
awesome. That's really impressive.
So And yes, so all states observe the holiday by 1911, and some of them officially recognized Mother's Day as a local holiday. The first being West Virginia, which was
Mm.
Jarvis's home state, in 1910. So even like a couple or a year or so
Wow.
earlier than that, so it's not like in 1911 everyone did it. Like she was busy
Yeah,
working. Like from 1908 on, this girl, she was going across the
that's
country. She
wild.
was trying to make a movement. Yeah. And so in 1914, only 6 years after Congress rejected that proposal,
Uh,
President Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation designating Mother's Day, held on the second Sunday in May, as
damn.
a national holiday to honor mothers.
Wow.
So the American and
Let's hear it.
this history is going to take just the juiciest turn. And listen,
Let's let's
I
spill
love
that
Anna
tea like we're at the
Jarvis.
Boston Tea Party, baby. Let's
I
do
love
this.
Anna Jarvis. I will read on her more to make sure that there's nothing like super controversial about
Very
her
horrible
past
after we say
because
this.
as of now though, with just a very limited basic knowledge of who
Uh-huh.
this woman is, I love this woman
Okay.
because not too long after Woodrow Wilson signed this into law, created this holiday officially in the United States, the American version of Mother's Day started to become a little too commercial. And to this
Damn,
day, it's
already.
a bit, it's, to this day, it's been criticized for having become just uber commercialized, like a
Yeah.
Hallmark holiday,
Yeah.
if you will. And Anna Jarvis herself, she regretted eventually this commercialism and expressed that it was never her intention for it to be this thing for big business or for all these cards and
Ooh, no,
sales.
no, no.
So by the early 1920s, so, like within 10 years, 5 to 10 years of it
Uh-huh.
becoming a holiday, Hallmark cards in particular and other companies had started selling Mother's Day cards. And Jarvis believed that the companies had misinterpreted and exploited the idea of Mother's Day and that the emphasis of the holiday was on sentiment, not profit. So,
Damn, she's
as
not wrong.
she's not wrong at all, I sense no lies, no misstatements whatsoever so
Yeah, damn,
far.
Anna.
As a result, Anna, she started organizing boycotts of Mother's Day.
Oh shit.
She fucking
What
started boycotting the very holiday she created.
what is that quote of
You either live
like
long
you
enough to
yes long enough to
to
see
die,
yourself
you
become the
either die a
villain?
hero or live long enough to become a villain. Yeah.
Yes.
It's her.
Yes.
It's her, at
That
least
is
to
Anna
the corporate
Jarvis.
interest. That was her, yeah, because she was
Hell yeah.
now their villain. It didn't stop at
Wow.
boycotts, Grace. She also threatened to issue lawsuits against the companies involved in this commercialization
Oh
of
my
this
God.
sacred holiday that she had just finished, like getting to,
Creating.
be recognized, exactly created and having the whole country recognized. So,
Wow.
a few examples of her protests outside of these
Yes.
lawsuits or these threats of lawsuits. She protested at a candy makers convention in Philadelphia in 1923, not even 10 years after
Yeah, I was
this
gonna say that
thing
was
holiday
quick
has
that she got
existed. It
pissed.
was quick. She went from activist to militant overnight, basically. So here she is boycotting candy makers. And then she went on in 1925 to boycott a meeting of the American War Mothers. So what do they have to do
That
with this?
mean?
By this time, carnations had become associated with Mother's Day.
Uh-huh.
And apparently, the American War Mothers had like a fundraiser to sell carnations to raise money for mothers. Or I don't know what exactly they were raising money for,
Uh-huh.
probably for, like soldiers or
But it was
something
like
like
selling
that.
them
So,
on Mother's Day type of thing.
exactly. And so this pissed Anna Jarvis off. And so she was arrested for disturbing the peace
Who's doing the
and boycotting the American War Mothers
peace?
on Mother's
And you said this
Day,
was in the 1920s?
1925.
So
And the
like American
Philadelphia
war
arrest
mothers came
was
from World War
1923.
One probably like as a like
Yeah,
group
probably.
formed out of that and she was just like
Yes.
don't give a fuck.
Fuck it. I don't give a fuck where your children fought in war. Stop exploiting this holiday. This is
Damn, she got
sacred.
arrested
You
for being
savage.
anti-mom. Anti-mom as in
The
anti-capitalism.
founder of
Mom
Mother's
as
Day
in
gets
Futurama style
arrested.
mom.
Mom, yes. Anti-mom corp.
Yeah, exactly.
The founder of Mother's Day is arrested for being anti-mom. I love it.
Wow,
My
damn.
God, like you could not create a better story and arc. The arc of justice is long, or the arc of what is it? Moral history is long, but it bends towards justice in Anna Jarvis's case.
And
So
no less seen than in Anna Jarvis.
yes,
Wow, this is
and so
incredible.
in the
This is why
end,
Kim
Anna
doesn't
Jarvis
celebrate Mother's
argued.
Day with her mom. This is her excuse.
Exactly. She knows. She knows. Like, I read a whole research paper on Anna Jarvis' mom.
Yeah, and I'm not
We're
selling out,
supposed to,
mom.
well, and actually, I think that Kim is doing the right thing here. And, without even knowing Anna Jarvis, I realize that I guess I've been against the commercialization of a lot of
All of
holidays
her
for a long
holidays.
time. So I've kind of leaned away from, love you, mom, but she knows I've leaned away from the
Yeah.
whole like, oh, buying elaborate gifts and all this stuff,
Yeah.
extravagant gifts and everything. Because Anna Jarvis herself argued that people should appreciate and honor their mothers through handwritten letters expressing their love and
Yeah.
gratitude instead of buying gifts and pre-made cards. And so, as her being the founder of Mother's Day, I agree that that is probably the way that we should all approach this holiday. No
And
need to
like
do all the big
most
commercial stuff. Just
holidays.
drop a note to your mom, tell her you love her, give her a hug. I mean, one of my favorite Mother's Day memories was just taking my mom out to brunch, taking her to a museum,
Sorry, you took
taking
her
her to a
out to
sky deck.
brunch.
So I know Wade would be so pissed.
Wow.
Okay.
Sorry,
Sorry. And
Stephanie.
then going, it's about the experience. So it's like, I
Yes.
don't you have to get all the, if you want to go for it, sure, fine, do live
Right.
your life.
But just
Everyone's relationship with their mother is different. But
true.
I think the most important thing is just about remembering the experience
Yes.
of
And
it
for
all.
really
So
most
the sentimental
holidays,
value. Hmm.
like, and for
I,
most holidays, like you said, of like most
yes.
things have been so overly commercialized, like, we
Yeah.
need to buy chocolates and a bracelet and all of this shit every single holiday. Just you can just talk to someone.
Exactly.
It's
Just
fine.
talk, pick up the phone, write a letter like she
Yeah.
said, just something simple. Yeah,
And I knew.
whatever.
And
But
I knew.
anyway, so that's the history of Mother's
That's
Day.
incredible.
And let me tell you, Grace, I was cracking up going through this, reading through these few Wikipedia
What
pages.
a
I was going down
turn.
a rabbit hole. What a freaking turn.
You're
I
probably
was
like, oh,
debating
this is nice,
whether,
I guess. And then
yeah. And then I
you
got
got
to
to
the arrest and the protest
1923.
part. Exactly. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm keeping all of this because this is cute. It's like, there's nothing really like super exciting. It'll be fun to talk about. But then I saw that.
That's why you
Oh
keep
my
reading, kids.
God. This is now
That's
my
why you keep
favorite
on skimming.
story. Yes. This is
Don't
now my
stop at the
favorite
first
story in
paragraph.
history of America, I think. Anna Jarvis, rest in heaven, queen. Like I said, I'll keep looking through her like page to make sure there's nothing
Just to make
super
sure.
crazy or just to make sure. But as of now, my naive self is saying, rest in heaven, girl. You're a queen
Well,
among queens.
you
We
deserve
miss you
it.
on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we do not
we
deserve
miss
you here in
you.
America.
Yeah.
You're too good for
So
us.
you were, you were. So now
Well,
back to Kim
incredible.
Possible. Um, as we left them, the kids were going back to go see their moms because Wade absolutely shamed them all for being horrible
Yes,
children who are not even spending time at home on this holiday with their
correct.
mothers. Ron goes home immediately and he's telling his mom that whatever she wants, she's got it. Like, I'll do anything for you today, mom. It's me and you. And so
Hmm.
she thinks for a second and tells him that the only thing she wants for Mother's Day is a clean garage.
Nice. Put in
And
work.
Ron is like, okay, well, when I said whatever you want, I meant more like an arts and crafts thing, like macaroni art or like it's something like that.
Little
And
card.
a little card, In the words of Anna Jarvis, I was going to write you a
I
card,
was gonna write you a
Mom.
letter.
I thought
No.
that was fine. So he's not super hyped to be taking on this massive endeavor of cleaning the hot mess of a garage that the
Mm.
Stoppable family keeps. They open it up and we see it. There's boxes everywhere. There's
It's a
shit
storage
falling
wars
off.
situation.
Exactly. It is. It is a war zone. Kim, meanwhile, she meets up with her mom at the hospital because her mom still did have to go off
Doing
and do that
surgery.
emergency surgery. And she just goes right into the surgery room, the operating room, mid
She
surgery, all
scrubbed up.
scrubbed up. She's scrubbed up.
Okay, that's good,
She's
Ellie.
hair is covered, mask on, everything. And Anne's like, oh, hi, Kimmy. Like I'm in the middle of surgery here. I can't really talk
Hey,
now. And
honey.
Kim's like, nope, we promised to spend the day together. And Anne, she didn't hesitate one bit. In fact, she's like, all right, well, go ahead, grab a scalpel and get that bleeding stopped. He's like, stop that bleeding.
Okay, hold on. This is the crime this
Yes,
episode.
go ahead.
This is a crime across so many. This hospital is going to get sued
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
shit out of it by this patient's family. Even if everything goes fine in this surgery, this
So
is the
true.
crime.
That is a fact. That's a fact. Like
This
you
is
could still be
absolutely the crime.
held liable for malpractice or negligence, even if things go well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
This is those nurses are
yeah,
all leaving the room so they're not witnesses to this crime and they can keep their jobs.
yeah. And it's funny now that you mention that it was literally only Kim and Ann in there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they saw Kim come in and they left. They
and
were
they
like,
left. They
not
they
this
saw Kim
again.
come in and they got quiet for a second and they expected Ann to kick her out. And when Ann said, "Oh, hi,"
Hi.
instead of just "What are you doing here?" they turned around and left. They didn't want to hear anything
Yeah,
else.
they were like, not again.
Never again. Um,
Yikes.
so yes, I'm glad that grabbed your attention. I knew it would. I was like, oh, Grace is
Again,
going.
this is the crime of this
This
episode.
is bad. This is really bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Kim legit helps perform surgery here.
great. Brain
And
surgery,
after the
perfect.
surgery, brain surgery, no less. Yeah. After the
Hmm.
surgery, Kim is like, wow, mom, your job is so awesome. Like, I knew that it was tough because it's like fucking like brain
Brain
surgery, but
surgery.
like amazing. And Anne is just like saying, oh, yeah, thanks, but she's also congratulating Kim on how well she did helping her with this brain surgey
Well, you
and
only
tells her
cut
that
a
she was
couple major like synapses in there.
exactly like the person's still alive. Actually, I'm not even going to joke about that. So, if I,
Hippocampus, hippopotamus.
The hippopotamus is it's the
It's
memory bank.
unnecessary
Uh,
anyways.
yeah, you don't need
Hippocampus is unnecessary anyways. It's okay that
it.
you nicked it.
And here I thought you were just talking about HIPAA, like the privacy, the doctor privacy things. Like, I don't know I don't know any of these words. So, and goes on to tell Kim that she was really impressed by her ability to stay conscious throughout the entire surgery.
I mean,
And
true.
Kim was like, well, I was too busy throwing up to pass out. So there's that. So
Okay,
also we've
well,
got some sanitation issues going
yeah,
on here
exactly.
now. Yeah.
So,
This gets worse. They keep digging the hole deeper. Yeah.
yeah, this is not good. This patient's not
No.
going to survive this.
So, as Team Possible is at the hospital, distracted, if you will, say, by
Mm.
their observation of Mother's Day, this leaves Draken and Shigo with the chance to regroup, replot, and
Ah,
replan a strategy to steal this self-replicating synthoplasma.
okay.
So they are currently in Draken's impenetrable mountaintop fortress, as he describes it. This thing is
Okay.
it's teeming with armed guards and security devices and booby traps. And he and
Mm,
Shigo will be safe there to plot. And no one, he says, will be able to get in without his say so.
okay.
Except for one person.
Draken's
One
mom.
person who's very eager and excited to spend her special day with her
I was
sweet
wondering
Ruby, her sweet
where.
Drew Lipsky, Draken's mother.
I was wondering, like, why aren't they hanging out? I know, like, Sheikah probably hates her mom because she, like, ditched her whole family when they became superheroes and she wanted to be
Hmm.
evil. But I was like, what
Exactly.
about everyone else?
Draken.
Okay.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
Amazing.
Oh, he didn't. Well, he didn't. He did forget, but she sure did not.
Okay,
But
good.
before we talk about that, let's just meet Draken's mother here.
Yes,
We
what
don't
does
get
she
her
look
name.
like?
We just know her name's Mrs. Lipsky. But let me
Okay.
say, she is a quintessential. She's my second favorite. Well, no, Anne is my second favorite after Mrs. Lip. Look, like I
The
said, this
mom's
town
on
has some
fire.
deserving mothers. The moms are
Yeah.
all amazing. Yes. So she's a quintessential sitcom mother from like a 90s show, I would
Oh,
say.
okay.
She's short. She has like very tall, puffy, curly red hair, though, like
Yes.
massive updo. She's wearing
Yes.
this bright yellow, teal floral print dress. She's
Yes.
got green, like fabulous glasses on, and she believes that her sweet baby boy is the most innocent, loving man that was sent from
Innocent.
God down to this green earth. Oh, yes, innocent. You see,
Okay.
she doesn't know that Draken is an evil villain. Draken has been
Uh,
carrying out this lie throughout his whole adult life that he's actually a radio talk show doctor, like Dr. Phil or something. But he
Wait,
goes
that's
by
so
Dr.
funny.
Draken still. Yes.
And why is his
So
skin
she,
blue?
it's all the stress, the sleepless night. He doesn't eat enough food
This
because
is
he's
radio
working so
waves.
hard. Exactly. It's the radio waves.
Okay, got
It's
it. I
tough,
see.
you know? But the whole episode, she's like, oh, my Drewbie helps people for a living. Isn't he such a good boy? And Chigo has a field day with this. Let me just say, I can't put it all in
She's
the
just
script because I
like
would just be like reading line for line. But
the whole
exactly. She's
time.
just like, Drewbie, good boy, please. And
Innocent.
Draken's mom is obviously like, Drewbie, you should settle down with a nice woman, like pointing at Chigo. And
Wait,
Chigo's like, no, 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 no.
no, no, no,
Absolutely.
no. I work here. I only work here.
Exactly. Yes. So the reason why I say as well that Miss Lipsky reminds me very much of a 90s sitcom mother, the quintessential,
Uh-huh.
is because the most wonderful thing about this character is that
Who's her
she's
voice?
voiced by an actress named Estelle Harris.
Okay.
Estelle Harris voiced, rest in peace, Queen. She voiced Mrs. Potato Head in all of the Toy Story movies.
I can hear her voice already.
And she played George Costanza's mother, Estelle, in
Yes.
Seinfeld. I saved that for last. I knew you would do that exact thing you're doing right now when I
Oh,
said
do I
that.
know her voice? Oh,
So
do I
now
know
you
her
know
voice?
exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh
Exactly.
my God.
That's
Yes, the
the voice.
perfect, like overly doting,
Hmm.
although
Yes.
sometimes I guess in Seinfeld very critical, but like
Same.
you gotta love
She
your mom no matter what energy.
Exactly. And
Oh
I can
my
tell that
God.
her role as Estelle Costanza is what landed her this role
Oh,
in this show.
yes.
I think she's in a few other episodes based on Wikipedia. It says she was in like
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 episodes maybe, but she like I didn't watch Seinfeld that much growing up, but I do know like especially the Costanza family. I feel like that's
Yeah.
probably one of the most like popular aspects of the show.
Yes, for sure.
And obviously JLD, but that's anyways, love her, but that's another topic for another day. So I still knew Estelle Costanza, and I was like listening to Mrs. Lipsky
You're
thinking,
like,
God,
why do I know that voice?
where can I
Yeah,
hear? I know
doesn't change the
this. And
voice
she
at
is
all.
literally the exact same type of character, like the exact
Yes.
same. Like they told her, just do what you do on Seinfeld when
Yeah.
she came into the studio to record. And you're like, oh, okay, I got that. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh my, this is incredible. Yeah,
So
always
she's
pressuring her
fantastic.
son to get married. Oh my
You
God.
should settle down with a nice female like her. She's so
Why haven't you
pretty.
asked her out
Yeah.
yet, George? I
My
mean,
son
Drew.
Drew, you probably have a lot of outtakes of her saying George with an accent. Yeah.
Oh my
My
God.
son is the sweetest boy. Yeah, she's amazing. So yeah, rest in
Yes.
another
Rest in heaven,
iconic
girl.
mother adding to the Mother's Day theme of this.
Yes.
So
Wow.
anyways,
I'm obsessed. I'm so excited.
so Draken tells his mom that he has some work to do for the talk show, but his mom is offended, saying that this is no way for a son to treat his mother on Mother's Day.
Hmm.
And it is at this exact moment that Draken realizes that it's Mother's Day. And so he tries to play it off like, oh, no, 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 I knew that. I knew it. I'm just like busy right now. So like you can stick around.
Later.
Just give me a minute. Yeah, to like finish my work. So she goes off to like go get coffee or something from the
Uh-huh.
kitchen. And he, meanwhile, is like talking to Shigo, like, we can't let her know that I'm evil. Like, we got to figure out how
Shut it
to.
down.
No. I wish he said shut it down. It would make his life a lot easier if he
Yeah,
had,
I
and
guess.
Kim and Anne's day
Yeah.
easier too,
Everyone.
as we'll find out later.
I was like, I
Everyone's
still want to
day.
be evil today, but without her
Yes, but
noticing.
we gotta like exactly. She can't know, so we gotta
Great.
shield all of this stuff in like secret talk or whatever. Or like we're gonna
Uh-huh.
plot very quickly while she's running and getting coffee. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So while she steps away, they start to discover, or Shigo discovers that the synthoplasma is being transported on a secure high-speed train to a secret location. And they're able to figure out which rail line the train will be on. So Draken is able to like get the coordinates and map it out and
Uh-huh.
determine where like they can start to stake out the train to pull off a heist. And as he explains, the rail line goes along like the outskirts of town, kind of like through some woods, under like cliffs and through mountains and
Hmm.
everything. So Draken is like, I could paint this as an opportunity for a Mother's Day hike and picnic in the
Oh my
mountains.
God. She was like, why don't I just go get it?
Honestly, that would have been a good idea too. I don't know why.
Why do
Draken
you
just
guys
feels
need
like
to
he
come
has to
with
be
me?
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has like 1,000 drones and like
Yeah,
worker
he's
bees
just a
just
control
around
freak.
this. Yeah, like send Shigo, have her command a group of like 5 or 10 of those little
Yeah,
guards and let them
he
do it.
can't
You
let it
stay home with
go.
your mom. He is a control freak. You're right. So, nonetheless, though, Wade, obviously, best son ever, best intelligence gatherer ever.
Let's go back to Wade.
Obviously, he catches wind of Draken's mysterious movements and all of these like transmissions back and forth to like get the
Mm.
coordinates of the train. Obviously, he's closely monitoring these things, and he calls Kim, telling her that Draken is making his way towards the train that's currently carrying the synthoplasma.
Mm.
But before Kim can really respond, she again takes a look at her communicator and
See, what's Wade and Mrs. Love up to? What are they doing now?
she asks him, Wade, are you at the beach? And of course, because it looks like he's at the beach, you see like sand behind him,
Uh-huh.
umbrellas and like parasols set up, and beach balls and everything
Uh-huh.
behind him. And it's sunny out, looks beautiful. His mom is on a beach chair with like the reflector thing on
Yes,
her
she's
and sunglasses and a bathing
tanning.
suit, tanning. And Wade is like, because again, we zoom out
He's
and
like,
we
you
see
know.
it's like a holographic beach setup in his room, and he's got like heating lamps and stuff placed all around
Oh,
the room, like on his mom. And he's like, are you kidding me? Why would I ever want to be in those UV rays? Please. And we see Mrs. Lowe just like, now I see why this boy never wants to leave his room. Just like tanning still.
He's like, take
Incredible.
my queen to a public beach?
Public
No,
beach. Ew, do you know
Kim.
how dirty sand is?
Kimberly.
No.
This queen cannot share the sun with anybody else. The sun only
Mm-mm.
shines for her. So I made her an artificial
Exactly.
sun in my room.
In my room, it's like a Dyson sphere, like full
Yeah.
sun just up there. He's like, ew, Kim, do you take your mom to the
A
beach?
public beach? Ew,
What?
Kim.
Your mom's a neurosurgeon, Kim. Are you serious?
Oh my gosh, she does not
Which,
deserve
like,
that.
also, I wish we knew what Mrs. Lowe does. I'm gonna guess she's like general counsel for some Fortune 500, or
Hell
she's like
yeah.
something like that, because she's
She's just that
clearly a
fab.
boss. Like, she doesn't lift her
Yeah.
finger. People do things for her.
All the
She's confident.
time.
She asserts herself. This
Ugh.
woman, she's
Yeah, she
amazing.
has a
Anyways,
high enough position that she doesn't need to be checking her phone on the weekend.
exactly. Someone
She's
else
like,
either checks her phone for her or has been
exactly.
delegated to take the calls anyways.
Exactly. She's
Yeah.
spending her day with
Hmm.
her son today. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
it's her special day. Yes. So, anywho, just hilarious. I feel like there might be one more scene in Wade's
God, I
room. I
hope
don't know,
so.
but those are the two best ones for sure. So, Kim at this point, she's ready to call Ron for backup and give him an update on this mission. But she's interrupted by her mom, who is fully geared up in matching mercenary boss babe fit. Like,
Oh,
she's got on the black turtleneck, the cargo pants,
yes. Oh,
utility
that's so
belt.
Also, you go, and
Go, Anne, because she reminds Kim, we're supposed to spend the day together no matter what. So I guess you
yep.
get me to help you. And, Kim is hesitant because she doesn't want her mom to get in any danger here.
Uh-huh.
But even if she could call Ron, even if her mom would be like, okay, fine, Ron can go with you, Ron wouldn't be able to leave the house because his mom is not letting him leave that house until the garage is totally
His
spotless.
spick and
She's like
span.
standing outside of the garage looking at him like, you're not
It's
going
spot.
anywhere. Get right back in there. Yep. So Kim, like I said, she starts to refuse, saying that like, it's hilarious. She says, Mom, this could be dangerous. I need Ron. So I'm like,
Mom, you can't be
Ron is
bait.
basically her body shield.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be
Mom,
bait, right?
my only method ever is having Ron be the bait. I can't
Right.
do that to you.
He goes through first so that all of the booby traps get
Go
set
off.
out, and then I can then or get set off, and then I follow
And
after
I'm
in a safe,
fine.
clear path.
I can't
Yeah.
risk you like that, Mom.
No, I love you too much, Mom. You're my mom. But Anne won't take no for an answer, and she also gives Kim these like puppy dog eyes that Kim just can't say
Oh,
no to. She's like,
yep.
but it's Mother's Day. You have to let me go. And Kim's like, fucking fine. Okay, let's go. So they go
Go.
to follow Draken and Shigo and protect this synthoplasma. But like I said, this train route, it's going through woods and mountains and like off terrain. It's very rough
Mm.
terrain where they have to go. So Kim and Anne, they hop on this dope ass ATV, and Kim is like ripping and
Hell
roaring through
yeah.
the woods. She freaking like takes them, she soars this shit right off of a cliff, lands on the train.
Cool.
It's this intense ride. Anne is screaming at first, but then at the end is like, Kim, that was amazing. Like,
Let's go
you're the
again.
best. Yeah, like, let's go. And Draken, meanwhile, and his posse, they've set up like a stakeout, a watch party on a cliff up
Uh-huh.
above, though they are very closely tracking the train's movements down
Mm.
below underneath them. So Draken, he's planning to use what he calls a sonic disruptor to cause a landslide that will cover the tracks from
Okay.
another cliff, I guess, hopefully not the one they're on. And it'll force the train to either stop or crash before it, gets into the tunnel
Okay.
where the rocks will all be formed up. So he activates this weapon just as the train passes by. And as he had planned, a massive landslide forces massive boulders to crash down right on these tracks.
Okay.
But the train continues on straight into the wreckage. So it's not stopping. So he's like, okay, that's
Okay.
oopsies.
Guess it's gonna crash.
Kim, yeah. And remember, though, Kim and Anne are still on top of this train. And they immediately recognize this as Draken's work when they see
Okay.
like this massive avalanche, or
Out
I
of
guess not avalanche,
nowhere.
landslide, exactly, come out
Yeah.
of nowhere. And because she knows that Draken is nearby trying to get on this train.
Yeah.
So her and Anne quickly get into the train to find a way to stop it, hoping they can like
Oh,
find a
okay.
break or something before it hits these rocks. But when they get to the front of the train, like I don't even think I can call it the engine room at this point
Uh-huh.
because they realize that it's completely they realize that the train is empty and it's completely automatically controlled. So it's like an
Oh,
electric
okay.
train. And there isn't yet any single person in there, so no one who is like
Could
trained to
like
stop
stop
this
it.
thing. And Anne sees this and looks at Kim like, so this means that it's also programmed to stop for rocks, though, right? And Kim's like, I hope,
You think
but I'm
so?
not going to wait to find out.
Good
So,
call,
because it
Kim.
doesn't seem like it, because they're not slowing down at all.
Uh-huh.
So Kim reaches for the emergency brakes, but apparently she's like Captain fucking America because she rips the entire gear off.
Oh no. Okay.
She's like, oopsies.
Kim,
And
work out less.
work out less, girl. Stop doing those
Do
curls.
less.
And so at this point, she does an even worse thing and just starts pressing random buttons everywhere.
Call
And this
Wade.
causes the train to put a pin in
Wade and
that.
smart.
She accidentally causes the train to go hyperspeed towards these fallen rocks now. So they just speed up.
Well, she's really muffing it right in front of her mom. Her mom's like, maybe Kim
Really.
didn't do such a great surgery. Maybe I should
Like
follow up with that patient pretty soon.
very soon. Maybe I
She's
should
like,
call the hospital's lawyers preemptively
right. She's like paging her like partner
aware.
at the hospital and the lawyers.
Can you guys check on something for me
No
right now,
biggie,
please?
but leave Mother's Day. We got some stuff to do.
And at this point, Kim does what she should have done from the jump, as you said.
Oh,
Call
thank
fucking
God.
Wade. What are you doing pressing buttons? What are you doing trying to like move
Anything on a
an
computer.
e-brake? Just don't, yeah, when you see anything, call Wade. I don't even, it doesn't even have to be dangerous. Just
Just
call
stub
Wade
your
and let
toe,
him
call
know.
Wade.
Call Wade, at least. He'll talk you through the pain, at least.
Yeah.
So she calls him and asks him for help, and she hotlinks him into the controls, and he
There we
immediately gets to
go.
work. And he quickly discovers that the train has some sort of advanced power source. And if he can just rewire a few things, then they can divert the energy from that power source
Okay.
into a blast from the engine to tunnel through the rocks.
Oh,
Wade's a genius. Don't ask me what any of that means or how that works. Just know
great.
that Wade knows it will work.
Just
Okay.
know that Wade's mom is getting beautifully bronze and Wade's a genius.
Yes. And she's full from that wonderful omelet that she
She's
had
probably taking a little
earlier.
nappy poo. A little
Uh-huh.
post-brunch
Right
mimosa
under the
nap in
heat
the sun.
lamps.
Oh,
That sounds like a dream. If I were a
oh
mother,
yeah.
that is exactly what I would want to happen. That's what I would want my kids to do for me. So Kim, she follows Wade's instructions on how to rewire this shit.
Uh-huh.
She pulls back a panel in the like control booth or whatever of this train. And obviously we see all these wires and gears in there. And she's struggling to kind of reach back towards the back of this control box or whatever,
Uh-huh.
where these two wires that she just really needs to reach according to Wade. But Anne, she kind of moves her out of the way, like, let me take a look here. And she sees like, oh, this looks a lot like a spinal juncture, actually. All
Oh
you need is the
shit.
surgeon's touch. So she gets her nice
Woo!
little nimble and, adroit surgeon's hands all
Yes,
up
we
in
do,
there, her
Anne.
deft hands. And she does her thing. She's able to rewire the wires just in time for the train to
Oh
shoot
my
like a laser beam of some
God.
sort through the rocks and continue on its way to the secure facility.
Damn.
And saved the day, or at least the moment. We're still on this train. We're not
Okay, yeah, I
totally
guess that's true.
there yet. Because Draken sees this laser blast a hole in the rocks from up on the cliff,
Uh-huh.
and he's pissed because he obviously knows that it's got to be Kim Possible. He's like, there's
Yep.
only one person who could have ruined my plan here. The same person who ruins all of my
Every
plans.
plan.
And he does not want to look like a failure in front of his mother, which
Yeah,
I
not in front
forget
of
what
mom.
he's explaining. All of the like they're on the hike,
He's like
so
making
to
like
speak.
some
Still,
excuse.
Yeah, like I think he says the sonic disruptor was some sort of like microphone for street interviews or something like that.
That
But
just
I don't
exploded. Yeah.
exactly. It's she's too busy getting the picnic together and
She's too
like,
busy doting on him to actually hear what he's
exactly.
saying.
Exactly. So Draken, he orders him and Shigo, or I shouldn't say he orders, they all get on his hovercraft so that they can chase after the train.
Mom,
And
this is my
Mom,
hovercraft. The
hop
station gave
on,
it to me
put your seatbelt on. It's just
so I
a
can
way for me
interview
to easily get to and
birds.
from exactly birds, get to and from meetings a little bit faster. You know how it is, Mom. So they follow up to this train. He blasts a hole in it so that they can all get on. And Shigo and his goons immediately take Kim and Anne captive when they get on this train.
Ooh, okay.
And so Draken orders his goons to guard and watch over the tied up possible ladies while he and Shigo search the train for the vault with the synthoplasma in it. But of course, Mrs. Lipsky, Draken's mom, she's curious. And so she like peeks into this train from the hover car and she's like, oh, why are they tied up like that, Drewby?
This is that exact moment is 100% Mrs. Costanza.
Straight from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And Draken's like,
Incredible.
it's part of just their therapy. It's a retreat of sorts, you know, a very immersive retreat. And she's like, oh wow, you know, my son's a doctor. He helps people.
My son's a doctor, you know? That's
And
so
Kim and
funny.
Anne are just like, what is happening right
Anne's
now?
like, I'm a doctor.
Yeah. And also, hilariously, Draken is very confused by Anne. Like when he gets there, he's like, are you kidding me? There's two of them. Kim, is this like your sister or
And
something?
Anne's like, ah.
And Anne is literally like, is he flirting with me? Quote
Happy
unquote.
Mother's Day.
But Kim says, no, sidekicks just confuse him because it's hilarious because he like
Yes,
never remembers who
he
Ron
doesn't know
is. So
Ron.
he's
Yeah.
just very confused. But
Sidekicks are
anyways,
confusing.
so like I said, yeah, Draken's mom is very concerned at first by Anne and Kim being tied up, but he talks her out of it, saying it's
Hmm.
therapy, whatever. And so he shoos his mom away, like, go stop by the diner car and just go get some coffee or something. Go get a snack, mom. I'll be there in a moment.
Mhm.
So she leaves. And shortly after, Draken and Shigo go their way to go find the synthoplasma. And Anne and Kim are very quickly, after all these people leave, they're very quickly able to get free from the ropes because
Good.
Anne, again, the genius that she is, she keeps that thing on her. She got a surgical laser in her
Fucking
pocket.
queen.
She's a queen, a
This is
surgical
an
queen,
episode of like
neurosurgeon
Queen of
queen.
Queens. This is where we're at
Mhm.
right now.
Another King of Queens is another show with some great sitcom tropes of mothers too.
Yes, to
Anyways,
come
but yes,
off.
Queen of Queens. So yeah, she uses this laser in her pocket to just cut through the rope, and then they're able to fight off the remaining guards that are there watching them, and then they then tie them
Mm,
up and follow
nice.
Draken and she go out to the vault. And yet again, Team Possible and Team Draken fight over this canister. And
Hmm.
after a wild game of keep away where they're trying to like toss it to each other to keep the other from grabbing it, the canister winds up somehow in the hands
No.
of Mrs.
No.
Lipsky,
Oh no.
who has come back down to this vault area or to her son
Oh
to
no.
yell at him for lying about there being a dining car on this train. And she just wants a freaking cup of coffee, but instead she's grabbed the pie from the hovercraft that she brought on the picnic and says that the
Oh,
coffee in this canister will go perfect with it. She'll go serve it up.
oh no. Okay.
And while she's shaking this thing around, the lid of it starts to kind of loosen, and
Okay.
some of the synthoplasma starts to seep out of the canister until
Okay.
the lid totally bursts off. And Grace, all fucking hell breaks loose on
Oh
this
no.
train. This self-replicating synthoplasma, it starts just with a little drip,
Okay.
but we quickly learn that it's like Flubber or the Blob, like
Oh
the
no.
alien monster blob. It's a
Yes.
neon green ooze that just continuously absorbs and consumes matter around it and
Oh
grows
no. Oh
and
no.
grows exponentially. So it starts just eating like crates and boxes and just other random
Oh
things.
God.
And
Okay.
it starts picking away at the actual train itself, the wall of the train, like eating
Oh,
the
their
metal.
vehicle. Yes,
I
good.
think it might eat some of Draken's guards or something like that and just
Probably.
starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And included in, like I said, all of the matter is the train itself. The matter that this
Yeah.
thing is absorbing is the train itself.
It's high
So
speed
Kim
train.
and Draken, exactly, the high speed train. So at this point, Kim and Draken realize, oh shit, like let's work together for a quick second here to try to get this thing
Yeah, yeah,
contained because this is bad. We're still on this train that is being destroyed by this thing.
yeah.
But it does not last long because it just is growing too big. It's knocking down
Oh, damn.
everything in the
Okay.
room they're in. This train car is now disappearing. So Draken,
Good.
Shigo, Miss Lipsky, Kim, and Anne all fucking make a break for it. They just run out of this train
Bug
and
it.
they run to the top of it. Fuck it. There's no saving anything here besides yourself.
Okay.
Um, they all run to the top of the train and they try to escape this ever-growing synthoplasma.
Uh-huh.
But Draken, he's like, "Oh my God, where the fuck is my hovercraft? I know I left it here somewhere. I left it on top of this." And she goes like, "Yeah, it was back there." And they turn around and the synthoplasma has just taken over the entire screen. And there's like only
Oh
one
no.
more train car behind them that it's
Oh
like
no.
still
So it's
launching.
huge.
So it's massive.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Okay.
And he decides at this point, okay, well, fine. We'll just detach this train car that we're on, that he and Shigo
Classic.
are on, because Kim and Anne are still running like a train car or two behind
Oh,
them.
okay.
And so he detaches this train car so that they can escape to safety. And yes, like I said, only he and Shigo,
Mom?
he forgets his mother because while they were all running to
She.
safety, again, I guess she doesn't understand the severity of the situation. She decided to just go back onto the train and grab the rest of the pie that they brought for that picnic, and thus
I
was
worked
like
so hard
another
on this,
train car
Drewski.
behind. Exactly.
Don't you want it's your
True.
favorite flavor?
It's so good. I couldn't let it go to waste. So, yeah, thankfully, Miss Lipsky does have hops though, because she is able to jump from one train car to another just in time for Draken and She Goes to get away. And she's like, Drew Lipsky, did you try to leave me with that monster? So did you forget about me? And Draken's like, no, 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 Mom, no, it was just a Mother's Day jumping contest and you just won. Yeah.
He's the worst son ever.
Yeah, but not to Miss Lipsky because she's like, I did? Oh,
Oh no,
you sweet boy, Drew, thank you.
I won.
And Shigo was just like, get me the fuck out of here right
She goes
now.
like, "This is why you are the way you are, Draken. You were
Literally
overly mother. You were
coddled.
baby."
Your entire life.
Oh my
So,
God.
anywho, Kim and Anne, they are unfortunately still trapped on this train car with
Oh,
the
yes.
synthoplasma that is very
Great.
quickly disintegrating. Like they basically have half of a train car left right now. They're
For they're
cornered.
also eaten.
Yes. And she's been watching this thing closely though ever since it started growing and since it was unleashed from the canister.
Hmm.
And she notices that the beings, I don't know what to call it, alien being, whatever, but its reactions to currents are like electrical currents, I guess, are
Uh-huh.
similar to electrical impulses in the brain.
Oh, damn, Anne.
So I know this woman is smart. She's a genius, a queen
Damn.
genius. And so she tries to jimmy rig Kim's communicator to create some
Uh-huh.
sort of like wave frequency that will communicate with the blob so that they
Damn.
can like get it to calm down at least or know
Yeah.
like, hey, no, we're not trying to hurt you. Just
Don't,
like chill for a
yes.
second because it's obviously a living thing of sorts.
Yeah.
But while she's doing this, like trying to like jimmy rig this communicator, Kim does actually get scooped up and like consumed by the monstrous this thing. And it's crazy. Like you actually see her silhouette like making its way through
through its
this
like
massive
digestive
neon thing,
tract.
like being ingested or yeah, digested,
Oh
which is
no,
crazy. And
Kim.
Anna's panicking, like
Oh no,
rushing to
oh
like
no, oh
screw
no,
drive something into this. Like, oh fuck, my daughter. Oh no,
oh
no,
no,
no. She's
oh
in
no.
there.
Okay.
So she fidgets with it a little more until she finally creates what she calls beta waves that cause the monster to not only spit Kim out, but to also go
Okay, good.
completely docile and just kind of like sit and lay down on top of this train
Oh, thank
car.
God. Okay.
Thank God someone here is a genius. Thank God, because Wade's not
Literally,
here. So what were they going to
Kim would have
do?
died.
She would
Like,
have. If Ron were there instead of Anne,
Ron's already
like
eaten at
there's
that
no
point.
way. No, yeah, he's done. And
He's
poor
first
Rufus
gone.
is too, sadly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, Anne and Kim just high five and they celebrate their win just as the train comes to a stop.
Okay.
And while they acknowledge how close of a call that was and how they would have preferred that Kim
Yes.
had
Could
not been
not
almost
die.
digested, yeah, they are ultimately more excited about the fact that they really did get the chance to spend some wholesome, quality mother-daughter time together.
Wow.
So basically, after this, my guess is that Wade probably just gets in contact with whatever scientist is overseeing this
It's the cleanup
self-replicating
crew in there.
synthoplasma. Exactly, cleanup crew, right? And he has him come and collect the monster from Kim
Yep.
at his earliest convenience, if you will. And this turns out to be a total win-win because Kim and Anne, like I said, they're able to kind of control this thing and
Mhm.
they're able to bring it back home, but obviously they don't want it like in their home. So
Yes.
instead, while they wait for the scientists to come and pick up the project, they give it to Ron and put it in his garage. And the monster, it actually just eats all of the trash and junk and stuff that was in the
Oh, okay.
Stoppables garage.
Hey.
And it's totally cleaned it out. And so it's a win-win
So
because now
Mrs.
Mistoppable.
Stoppable got a good Mother's Day
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know
Deserves
if she
it.
wanted everything thrown out or like destroyed, but the garage is clean and that's all
Hey,
she wanted for Mother's
clean
Day.
slate
The end.
sometimes. Oh my God. She Marie Kondoed it. That's the name of this monster.
Does it give me joy, Marie?
No. That's it.
Mom. Noms. Yep. And that is it. So every mother got
Wow.
exactly what they wanted for Mother's Day.
Wow. I definitely want Mrs. Lode's Mother's Day for my
Same.
Sundays.
Same.
For sure.
That would be my desire. Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I guess Miss Stoppables was cool too because she didn't have to do anything. But, and hey, if you want a
Yeah.
clean garage, if that's really what you want, cool. But no, the ideal for sure is fancy brunch being brought
Oh.
into you,
Yeah, I didn't have
into
to
your
leave my
home by your
house.
son, and then
Yeah.
a like makeshift
A
beach that
beach
has all the
day.
perks of the beach with none of the cons. Yeah, at
Yes.
home.
God. The best
Win-win.
son.
Yeah.
He
Best
was the best
son.
child
The
for
best
sure.
son.
This episode and all
hmm
episodes probably, but yeah.
The writers could only show us that. They're like, we're not going to show you dinner too because you kids are going to like,
The kids
we can't
watching the
make you
show
guys look
doesn't
that
know what a
bad.
Michelin star chef is, so we're not going to
Exactly.
bother writing it in because Wade brought one in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course he did. So, yep. So that is
Wow,
the end. So
great
I hope that
job.
you all learned a wonderful lesson about Mother's Day here from Kim Possible and from the
Yes.
Queen Anna Jarvis herself
Yes.
and the
Queens
also
all
really cool
around.
Anne Jarvis, even though she was kind of neutral during the Civil War, she still did some good things. So
Some cool
whatever. That's
stuff. Yep.
another question for another day. But her daughter Anna, a queen among queens
Loved it.
until and unless I find anything else about her
But
that
we
will
at
make me
least know
retract
Anne
that statement.
Possible, Queen Among Queens, Mrs.
hmm
Stoppable, Mrs.
Yes.
Lipsky,
Mrs.
and
Lipsky, and of course, Mrs. Load.
obviously. Wow,
hmm
great job. That was very fun. I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to meet all
Thank
the
you.
moms.
Oh, you'll love them. I know.
Yes.
I mean, you love them here,
So
but just wait till you see them too. They're great.
can't wait.
So, until then, and I guess assuming that this is after Mother's Day that this episode is
Yep.
airing,
Oops.
until then, and until you celebrate the next family holiday of whatever, Grace, until next week, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think because we've definitely done moms before for
We
Mother's
have.
Day
I
for
feel like we've done
sure.
fathers too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. I think you should tell your mom friend, but not in the sense of a friend who has a
Mm-hmm.
child, but your friend in like your group of friends
Your
who
friend
like
group. Yeah.
she's always got her phone's always charged. She always knows where the next destination is, what time your reservation is. She's got some extra chapstick and tampons for you. Like this is mom of the group.
Mm-hmm.
She is ready, responsible. Let her know about this episode and tell her thanks. It's a big responsibility to take care of all you
It is.
hooligans as a
It
friend. She just
is.
wants to have fun too sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
let her know about the episode. Tell her thanks. Tell her Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for taking care of you. And who
Mm-hmm.
else should they tell about the show?
After that, if it's not the same person, you should tell like your work mom. If there's
Ooh,
someone
oh
like if you
yes.
have like a group of coworkers that you get along well with or
Yes.
work with a lot, and there's one of them who's always just like making sure you take your lunch break, making sure you like
Yes.
assert yourself to your boss and your peers, or like
We all need a
having
work
your back
mom.
all the time when things are hard, bringing you treats, all that kind of stuff. I feel like every office has one.
Yeah.
So unless that work mom happens to work with me and Grace, because I don't know if we want our employers listening to every episode of the podcast, but
Yeah. There's
whatever. But
definitely not
assuming
someone
that they
bringing
have
us
nothing to do
treats
with
and
me and Grace and
things.
our jobs, tell your work moms. Yes.
Yes. Wow. Incredible. Great job. Tell them all.
Thank you. Thank you. Until next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.